Hey there, women and men and women of the jury. It's Mr. Judge here. And as you can see, I'm not in my overalls, my courtly duties today. What I want to talk to you guys about is something that our newly elected president, Donald Trump, has decided. Donald Trump has decided to call for the repeal of the Johnson Amendment. Now, all you that don't know what the Johnson Amendment is, it's basically the amendment that separates church from state. Now, I know, you might be thinking, well, what's so bad about that? Well, what's bad about it is that if you separate that we live in a democracy, right? Electing officials, electing the people to represent you, the people, for things that you want, the people. And that's basically what the principle why we're a democracy, right? That's what the American people are all about, right? Well, how can we be a democracy if we allow corrupt institutions to not only will we lower their taxes, but we will also allow them to fund and not only their own campaigns but anyone else's. So let's look at a scenario here. Uh, I want to be president. It's election time, but I don't have the money for it. So what do I do? Well, churches just are always handing out applications to fund people. So I'll go, hey, Mr. Church, man, if you make me your goddamn candidate, I will do whatever you goddamn want in Congress. And they're like, right away, sir. And they give you all the money and then blah blah blah, etc., etc. It'll be like, we've all heard those little statements, the propaganda of, oh, these union companies, they run the White House, they run the Congress. Well, and we're all saying, nah, that ain't true, that's lies, that's propaganda, that's bullshit. Well, uh, if the Johnson Amendment is repealed, guess what? The union, that that little type of myth will become true because we all want people that we all elect, right? You know, we want people that are elected by the people. Well, we don't want puppets running for candidates. We don't want people working for companies or businesses, and churches are more like businesses of anything. We don't want those types of scumbags to be in our elections, right? Well, there we have it. That's what we're allowing if this Johnson Amendment gets repealed. We lower the taxes on churches, which they don't even pay that much taxes much at all. We lower the taxes. We allow them to fucking worm their way into the politics and fucking make us a theocracy, not a democracy anymore. And I say bullshit, Mr. Trump. I say bullshit. Now, I voted for you, Trump. I voted for you, not out of particular like of you, but I voted for you so that scumbag Hillary wouldn't win. And then I started, that's why I voted for you. Now, if your first term is to cancel our democracy and turn it into a theocracy, I'm starting to support the people who want to impeach you. You know, maybe those people that didn't want you to be president had a good reason to be, because I didn't agree that I wouldn't say that I liked you, but I would say that I did sort of think, they weren't giving you a fair chance. They don't really know what's going to happen. But now, with what you're doing here, I'm starting to change my mind, Mr. Trump. Because, let's see, you're not even in the White House right now. You're off skimmering away to other countries. You're trying to repeal the Johnson Amendment, which, as a Republican conservative, I don't understand why you would do this. And now we have it to where now we have all these conspiracies. People keep saying, oh, Russia's got us by the balls. Russia has Trump as their puppet and all that. I don't necessarily believe them, but with that type of shit you're doing right now, You're giving them a good goddamn reason to think so, Mr. Trump. You're shameful. Now, here's guys, please, please do not, and I repeat, do not allow this Johnson Amendment to be put in. If you allow it to be put in, you're casting aside your democratic freedoms. You're casting aside your rights to be political and not matter if you're an atheist, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, whatever. You should never mix politics and in church together. Hasn't Europe kind of been a perfect example of that? For thousands of years they had the church as their heads of governments, as their people in charge of their countries. And what did that lead to? Mass genocide, murder, slavery, cost us a lot of money, wars. I thought that the whole point of separating church from state, like America did so wisely, was to prevent this type of action, prevent this type of disaster. But you know what? As human nature arrives, we're here doing the same mistakes again. We learn from our past, but then we still make the past mistakes. So please, please, people, do not allow the Johnson Amendment to be taken away. Do not allow your freedom to be taken away. Do not let the corrupt institutions of churches corrupt our free democratic government, which will then pervert our society into a theocracy. Your freedoms will no longer exist at that point. Thank you.